I am well aware that this is the post-lunch talk, so don't make yourself too comfortable, and I just hope that I do not have too much of a soothing voice that will put you all to sleep. This talk is on social media. And that word, I think, scares a lot of us of a certain age, like my mom's age. You know, she's like, my mom, when I go home, she has the website open on her computer, and there's 3 tabs open. My Facebook, my brother's Facebook, and my Instagram account. And if in any way that closes down, she has no idea how in the world to go back there. So when I was thinking about how to give this talk in social media, I was imagining somebody like my mom, right? Anyway, let's not be afraid of social media. I'll just give you a quick overview of the way this talk is going to be. It's going to be very brief, but hopefully enlightening. Number 1, we'll do a quick overview of the social media world and why it's changed the paradigm. Then, without getting lost in the weeds, we'll look at Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and WordPress, and YouTube, okay? Just to explain that really quickly. Then, if you have any questions about social media, or how to run a computer, or how do you do that Facebook thing, I'm going to give you one foolproof, absolutely foolproof way to find every answer you're looking for. There will be no excuse after this, because ever since this one thing came on the scene, there is no such thing as a knowledge gap. We have immediate knowledge at our fingertips. So I will give that to you for free today. Okay. Then we'll get some tips if you feel like evangelizing in the social media world. Brother, can you hit the photo? Yes, and somebody hit the lights. Don't get too comfortable. All right. Everybody, I would imagine, has either seen a photo or has been to Times Square. Okay? So I want you, without closing your eyes, to remember and imagine being in Times Square. And this is what social media is. It is a virtual Times Square. Now, you've probably walked through Times Square, and you hear the chatter that is going on around you, these different conversations, what people are saying about this or about that. And it's just this big kind of mess, right, of just chatter. That is Twitter. It's just chatter, tweets, okay? Now, there might be some things that draw people's attention in Times Square. Some cowboy guys, something over here, something over there. And there'll be a group of people gathered around this person, and they'll all be talking about that. That's a hashtag, okay? You hashtag your thing, and you get these people talking about certain things. And when a lot of people start talking about that, it trends. That's called the Pope. So think about all of these people in front of Madison Square Gardens, tweeting, "This line is so long. I don't think we'll ever get in there," right? "I got in." That's Twitter. Just this conversation, sending it out into the virtual world. Okay. Then, when you're in Times Square, you'll notice that there's these wonderful images. Well, not wonderful. An artist in me thinks they're great. But up here, the big boards and the ads and the signs and all these different things. That is Instagram. Okay? Instagram is an instant image, photo, video that you take and you just put it out for the whole world to see. Okay? It's like the old Polaroid camera where you take a photo and you wait, and then magically these little elves inside the camera produce this Polaroid that you then share with your family right there, except you're now sharing it with the whole world. Isn't it awesome? That is Instagram. Now, where's Broadway exactly? Is it on Times Square? Okay, awesome. There's Broadway on Times Square. That is where you go to watch these plays, movies, I would imagine. I've never been there. But everybody would go in to watch these things. That is YouTube. Okay? YouTube is the Broadway of the virtual world. Now, as you're walking through Times Square, all of a sudden you'll come across a kiosk. And there people are selling magazines, glossy magazines. So if you have time and you feel like it, you can pick up this magazine and you can start reading more in depth. That is WordPress. It is a magazine on the internet. Then you'll see a stack of the New York Times and the New York Post, and you have whatever else, USA Today, and the Wall Street Journal, and the National Catholic Register. Hopefully it's being sold somewhere in Times Square. And there, that is Facebook, your own personal news feed and what is going on in your life. It's your own magazine that you are running. Okay, so that is the Times Square. Now, it used to be that only a few select people wrote books. And then only a few people performed on Broadway. And only a few people had movies that reached thousands of people, or 2,000, or like somebody 2 billion on YouTube. It used to be that only select groups of people were able to do this. But something has changed. And I want to show you this video. Brother, get the video, the Apple video, to show you what a huge game-changing reality has just happened in the world in our lifetime. Go ahead.
We don't read and write poetry because it's cute. We read and write poetry because we are members of the human race, and the human race is filled with passion. Medicine, law, business, engineering, these are noble pursuits necessary to sustain life. But poetry, beauty, romance, love, these are what we stay alive for. To quote from Whitman, "O me, O life of the questions of these recurring, of the endless trains of the faithless, of cities filled with the foolish. What good amid these, O me, O life? Answer, that you are here, that life exists, and identity. That the powerful play goes on and you may contribute a verse. That the powerful play goes on and you may contribute a verse. What will your verse be?
Everyone. Sorry. Well, okay. Everybody can contribute a verse. That is the game changer. Like my battery running out of my phone. That is the game changer that has happened. Everyone can contribute a verse, right? We don't enter into social media because we want to post pictures of cats or our food, right? We enter into social media because we are members of the human race. As members of the human race and members of Regnum Christi, we are filled with passion for Christ, right? Economics, all these good things, medicine, these are all noble pursuits. The beauty, grace, the family, this is what we stay alive for, right? And we can share it immediately with the world. All you need is an iPad. That's it. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm going to make a confession here. When I joined Instagram, it was only as an artistic outlet. All of a sudden, I had this phone that had a camera on it. I was like, wow, I can take pictures. And I started doing that only as an artistic outlet. I had no interest whatsoever in social media. And then people started following and following and following. And before you knew it, there was a lot. And it's just a fascinating thing. So the game has changed in this sense. We can all contribute a verse. Now, the big question is here, how do we do that? The big question. Father, like my mom says, I don't get it. How do I do that Facebook thing again? How do I do this? How do I do that? Now, there's this one great little device that you'll find on every computer. It's called Google. All right? And Google has ended the knowledge gap. It has completely changed everything. There is no such thing ever as how or why, because you can find it immediately. Brother, do you have that second video? There's this comedian, and you'll see this. I love this little clip, but he kind of, I think you'll get what he's talking about. But just listen to this.
I have an iTelephone. Thank you. Which means I have Google on my phone. I'm guessing a lot of you do. I have Google on my phone now, and it's ruining our lives. I don't know if you've noticed, it's ruining life because we know everything. But we're not a lick smarter for it. We just know. You don't know something? Wait 2 seconds. You will know. Having Google on your phone is like having a drunk know-it-all in your pocket. There's no time for mystery or wonder. You're just like, how do they make glass? And you know. But the time between not knowing and knowing is so brief that knowing feels exactly like not knowing. So life is meaningless. I've literally been in bed in the morning, alone, just like, where's Tom Petty from? But I feel nothing, because there was no time to not know. Listen to me. There was a time, and I don't mean to get all Andy Rooney on ya, but there was a time that if you didn't know where Tom Petty was from, you just didn't know. And you felt that yearning and that deficit in your being. And you'd go around and ask actual people, like, where's Tom Petty from? I don't know. And now I'm impregnated with wonder. And then they go and ask people. Until one fateful day, you see a girl wearing a Heartbreakers t-shirt, you rush up to her and you're like, hey, where's Tom Petty from? And she tells you, Florida. And a wave of endorphins and pleasure and meaning would wash over you. And you felt something. And that's how you met your wife. Do you understand? Your wedding song was Refugee. Did Biz laugh? Thank you very much, everybody. Good night. Thank you.
So, all that just to say, if you have the question, like, how do I run a Twitter account? How do I run a Facebook account? How do I start a WordPress site? What is WordPress? What is it? Just Google it. And seriously, you will find hundreds and thousands of brief, excellent explanations and tutorials that will show you. If you want to write, even Google, how do I run a successful Twitter account or Instagram account or whatever, you'll find even more explanations and tutorials. I just saw Father Edward the other day, the two of us, we had this wonderful new Ninja blender that was donated. And we're sitting there and in the kitchen, we couldn't get it to work. And I went and I dug up the box, I got the directions out, I'm paging through the directions, And we literally spent like a half hour trying to get this. And then I was like, I'm just gonna Google it. It's like, my Ninja Blender won't work, why? And it said, this little thing came up, probably the knob's not aligned with the arrow. I was like, oh, yeah, there it is. In like 1 second, it was amazing. So the place to go to learn how to run these different places is Google, and they will show you, and it's wonderful. Okay, so here, let's think about this. This is now to get kind of practical. How can social media help us to evangelize? Number one, let's think of Twitter, okay? Twitter is, brother, maybe you could put up the Twitter picture, our Twitter account. Twitter is, remember, the conversation that is going around in Times Square. It's real brief. It's 140 characters only, right? So there's two things that Twitter's doing. One is, you're with your Twitter, you can invite people to your storefront, right? If you're running a store in Times Square, you have somebody going out there saying, hey, check this out, check this out, check this out. Or you could just be sending out brief little thoughts. And it's relatively easy. And I was thinking about this as, just to make it really concrete, and 3 to Get Married has been in my mind recently. And because the problem has always been, how do we follow up with these young couples after 3 to Get Married? They disappear. No, they don't. I bet you every single one of them is on Twitter. Every single one. If they're not, I would be really, really surprised. So something that would be very simple to do to follow up with these people would be simply to ask them at the end of the 3 to Get Married retreat, hey, would you be interested in receiving a daily tweet to help your marriage? Something as simple as that. We will send you a daily Catholic thought to help your marriage. I went online on Twitter, and that does not exist. There's no place called daily marriage retreat or daily marriage thought or something along those lines. That would be just this little way to stay in contact, and you just send it out briefly. So think about that as a way of perhaps applying it to your own apostolates, how to reach out to other people. YouTube. An absolute master at YouTube, and it goes without saying, and he's in the back here, is Father Michael Sliney. He's going to teach you about public speaking. Phenomenal public speaker, great on YouTube. This is Father Stephen Dias. YouTube is, again, a simple kind of just video that you can make. 3 to Get Married. What if, say for example, the host couples just did a monthly YouTube video about, I don't know, how to prepare for Halloween as a Catholic couple. And the two of them kind of describe it together. And then you do another one at Christmas. And that one could be a real interesting way to follow up with the people that are coming in to our 3 to Get Married. Again, this is just throwing out ideas for ways that you could apply to your own apostolate. WordPress. This is your magazine. Here's Father Stephen Riley, right? This is how we run our WordPress. You can put videos up here, you can put your articles, and so on. So WordPress is something that's meant to be more in depth. YouTube and Twitter are supposed to be much briefer, right? But here, if you feel called to write and to spend some more in-depth time in this kind of sense, it will be interesting. You can really run your own magazine. It's an incredible reality. So maybe, the top 5 books a man should read at the beginning of his marriage would be a classic kind of WordPress article that you could publish as a way to follow up with our people and keep them in the loop. Facebook. Facebook is You can have your own personal page, but you can also start ones for yourself. One thing that could be really helpful, for example, is to have a page just for your Redmond Christie team. Your own Redmond Christie team has your own Facebook page where you post your thoughts, where you post perhaps how your insights from the last encounter was going, the resolutions, or just inviting people to different events. You can have your own little pages in Facebook. How do you do that? Google it. Super easy. Okay, and Instagram, last but not least. Instagram is just sending out photos. Here's Father Donald, right here, reading Pope Francis. Isn't it awesome? Here is having a sense of sharing your life, but your own story as a Redmond Christie apostle. The things that are happening, but in a real positive way, okay? This would be something that you could consider. Now, finally, how much time do I have? 2 minutes, okay. Let me just give a couple tips in case if you would like to wade into the social media world. Some tips that I've learned along the way of do's and don'ts. Number one, if you want to engage in social media, and we should because it's where everybody is, so it's the present and the future, we need to be prepared to invest time in it. It's worth investing the time. Google and read articles about how to grow and run an effective account with whatever where your interest is. And know that it's going to require daily attention. I really personally, and here's another public confession, have a love-hate relationship with social media. You can reach so many people, but it does require time. Okay? Number two, have a specific audience in mind. Youth ministry, young families, new mothers, vocations, college students, seekers, pagans, right? 3, to get married, and tailor your account towards them. It really helps to do something like that, right? To send out a tweet like, husbands, love your wives today like Christ loved the church. What a beautiful kind of tweet just to send out like that, and that thought comes in to their mind right away. Be aware that promoting events and evangelizing are two different things. Social media is great to share and promote events, but evangelizing is sharing the good news of what Jesus Christ is doing in your life. And that's what really profoundly moves hearts. So I was thinking about how can I share in a normal, uplifting, good way that. If you do feel called to wade in and write on or controversial issues, be sure to get ready to spend even more time on social media and have online courtesy, right? Always treat the person that you'll be engaging with as if they're right in front of you. One thing that's very important is the social media rule, I think, as a member of Redmond Christie, is that we are positive. We are positive. We are sharing our own story. We're contributing our own verse to the play that goes on, right? Our own experience of Jesus Christ. And we're not bishop bashing. There's so much of that that's already going on around. It's just not worth waiting in there. So keep it very, very positive. So those are some thoughts, hopefully, that were helpful for social media. If anybody has any questions and they're not finding the answer on Google, please, I would be very happy to help. Talk to anyone. You can reach me on Instagram and Twitter and on my Facebook account. And you can also just send an email to Pam. If you want to do it the old-fashioned way and send an email, you can do that to Pam. So, and I'll be happy to talk. We can set up different accounts and so on. God bless you all. Thank you.